Hello, everyone. My name is Holly. I am the Digital Media Lab intern here at the Iowa City Public Library. So that means that I am in the Digital Media Lab helping people with their projects, digital media projects, showing them how to use the software we have there, as well as creating classes that I notice people might need in the Digital Media Lab or that they have told me they would be interested in, or people have written on our survey that they would want a class about. So that's what I do here at the Iowa City Public Library, and that's a little bit about me. I personally use LinkedIn quite a bit. I'm graduating in December, so I have been using LinkedIn to help me find jobs, to help me see what's out there post-graduation. And I have found that it's a very useful tool. And so I am very excited to get to share some of its capabilities with you guys. So let's get started. So first, what is LinkedIn? So just a little summary of what it is. It defines itself as the world's largest professional network on the internet. What you can do on LinkedIn is you make a profile that's essentially a resume profile for yourself, which you then can connect with families, friends, coworkers, recruiters, just people you've worked with, people you know. And you can also search for companies you would want to work with that you're interested in. You can see what jobs they have open at those companies or those organizations. You can also reach out to people that work at those companies for advice if you're interested in a position there. And one additional feature that I have also found while I've been applying for jobs is that even when you apply for jobs outside of the LinkedIn website, sometimes companies will let you apply using your LinkedIn profile. They'll allow you to log into LinkedIn, take your information that you have provided on your profile in LinkedIn, and they will put it in their application. They'll automatically fill it in their application that they have on their website, and it's just a way to save you time as opposed to you typing it all out again. So how to use LinkedIn. So when you first type in the LinkedIn website, when you go to the LinkedIn website, it'll look a little something like this if you're not logged in. So when you come here, here's my little mouse. I'll be using it you around if you can see my mouse on my screen. So when you go to the website, you'll see that it has these three little options here: search for a job, find a person you know, learn a new skill. These are all tools that you can use even if you don't have a profile. So if you are interested in using some LinkedIn tools, but you want to make a profile, that's perfectly fine. If you go in, you can search for a job, you can search for people you might know and see what they're up to. But the only thing is you cannot connect to those people, and you cannot do an easy apply that they have or use your information from your profile to apply for those jobs if you choose to just use these tools without having a LinkedIn profile. But let's say you want to apply for a job and use the easy apply options, use your profile to apply for jobs. All you have to do is come up here to the top and either join now. It's only a couple of questions. They'll ask you some basic information about what you're doing now, what your occupation is, and where maybe you're based out of, and for your email address. I will say it's very important that you verify your email address. They'll send you a verification email, and just make sure you verify that because you can't make connections or do the easy apply either unless you verify your email. So be sure to do that. Or you can sign in if you already have an account. And so once you log in or you create an account, it's going to take you here to your homepage. Your homepage is kind of like your feed. It'll tell you all the things that your connections are up to, companies that you follow, people you follow, anything that you have followed, that you've made a connection with, it's going to show up here, posts they've made, things they've liked, things they've commented on, they've shared. It'll show up there. It's a lot like Facebook in that way, that you can kind of see what your connections, people you follow, have been up to. This is also where you can make a post. You'll see right up here, it says start a post. You can start typing out a post, add a photo, video, you can add some stuff to that post. So again, a lot like Facebook, although it's a little less personal than Facebook. I wouldn't be writing too much about your personal life when you're making a post. Keep it more towards academic achievement, career achievements, maybe something you learned on the job that overall just makes it, seems very professional, and makes employers who would see what you have posted in the past, they would that would make you stand out, make them be like, kind of get to know you a little bit more, and make you think that you could be a very professional employee at their place, wherever it is that you're applying to. So yep, that's going to be your home page, and you can find that right up here at the top, with this home icon. If you ever want to get back to this page, if you ever want to come back after you've maneuvered to any of the other ones, just hit this home button and you'll come back to your feed. I'm going to go over each of these buttons up here at the top, because they're all going to be very important. They're going to take you to a different place. And so I'm just going to explain those to you real quick, and then we're going to talk about the search button. So going over the different tabs up at the top, we already went over the home. So the next one is the My Network. So My Network, this is what's going to show up when you click on that. And My Network just shows you people you have made a connection with, and anything else that you have followed. So as you can see, this will pop up. This will show you where all your connections were. I took a screenshot of my account that I made for this class, and I didn't have any connections, but otherwise they would show up right here. So over here we have all the different things that can be in your network. So we have connections. So those are people that you have sent an invitation to connect with, or they have sent you an invitation to connect with them, and either you've accepted, they've accepted. So you both have accepted that connection, and are kind of neutral in that way. Contacts is where you can insert your email. So you see it has it right here as well. Put in your email, put in your phone number, and it will take your contacts from your email or from your phone number, and it will go through them and see who in your contacts has a LinkedIn profile, and then it will display that here in contacts. That doesn't mean you have made a connection with them. It just will show you who in your contacts has a LinkedIn profile, so you can then send them a connection request and become connected to them. People you follow are going to be people you follow. Those are CEOs, kind of people more up there in importance. Those people aren't going to be a connection, which means that they aren't going to do some of the stuff. They aren't going to be able to do some of the stuff you could with a connection, or they could do for your profile with a connection. Also, you can't necessarily message people who you follow. Some people will have this premium LinkedIn account, which will allow anybody on LinkedIn to follow them and then also message them. But some LinkedIn accounts that allow you to follow them will not necessarily have that premium membership that allows you to message them. So that's what the difference is. It's just more people you follow as opposed to people you know. So and one thing I'm going to note that is kind of confusing is that any companies that you follow is going to be here under pages. So it's not companies, it's not labeled as companies, it's labeled as pages. So if you ever come into your network and want to see what companies you have followed, you're going to go to pages right there. That's where you're going to find it. And then they have all these other things that maybe you've marked that you're interested in, right? So groups, events, newsletters, hashtags. That's all the stuff you have followed are going to be in here, but not jobs, which is the next tab. So any jobs that you have searched for and saved are going to be here in this little briefcase icon. And this is where you're going to find the jobs you have saved and any job alerts you have set. And I will show you how to do that when we're talking about searching. So these are two things that I'm going to reference later on. They're both I use quite a bit. They're pretty important, and you can find them here under jobs. But again, this is where your saved jobs are under my jobs, and this is where you can manage your job alerts that you have set that let you know when jobs have become available within companies, within locations, whatever you've indicated you wanted job alerts for. They also have additional tools here. I will not go in depth about them, but they can be very useful for job searching. Salary tells you, you can look up a position and it'll tell you how much on average that position makes. Skill assessments, that's something I'm going to talk about later on as well. Those can be very useful to prove that you have certain skills. It's these quizzes that LinkedIn has made so that you can, so that they can verify you know what you've listed as your skills. You don't have to take those are optional. I'll talk about that more later. Interview prep are questions that you might be asked in an interview. And resume builder, it helps you build a resume, and it can even help you take your profile and make it into a resume. Just takes that information you have on your profile, puts it in a resume format. Job seeker guidance, exactly what it sounds like. Some guidance for people who are looking for jobs. And application settings, that's where you could go in and change what maybe you would put on one of those quick applications, or when you sign in to apply for something, what data gets sent to those applications. So then the next little icon is the messaging section. That's going to give you where you can see all your messages. One thing you cannot see from all the other pages I've been on is actually that little messaging box right here. It's always going to be off to the side of whatever page you're going to be on. So it's always there, but in case you're on a page doesn't have that little messaging bar off to the side, you could just go ahead and click this and it'll get you back to your messages. Just kind of no distractions. It's just your little messaging section. And then next we have notifications. Notifications differs from the home feed, where it's just kind of letting you know what has been put on your home feed from companies you follow, if they've made a post, shared a post, something like that. It also will, LinkedIn will notify you when they have made a post themselves. If they've written a little article that they think might be interesting to you, that you'll get a notification for that. You can change in settings what you want to be notified about, but this is where you're going to find those other than your home feed. So that's where you'll find that. Then we're going to skip the Me tab and we're going to go to Work. And Work is just additional tools that they have within LinkedIn. So not outside of just the main LinkedIn website, you'll find them over here. One thing I'm going to point out is they have this LinkedIn Learning. If you have a membership at the Iowa City Public Library, you get to use LinkedIn Learning for free. It's a great resource to help you learn tools like, I don't know, Python or Adobe products. You can find courses on those there at LinkedIn Learning, and you do have to have a membership to do so. And if you have a library card, then you get to use it for free. And it's really cool and can definitely help you on those skill assessments I mentioned earlier. They also have a lot of stuff for people who are looking for employees. And then there's that salary that was mentioned earlier, and you can also find that here. And so now we're going to move on to the Me. This Me tab is pretty important. It isn't going to take you to a new page. It's just going to give you this little drop down rectangle you see here. So I'm on the home page actually, but when I click on the Me, it's going to give me this little drop down little window right here. And this is where you can go in and you can view your profile. If you click on this button, it'll take you to your profile where you can view it, and you can also edit it. So we will be talking about how to make the most of your profile later on. And so when you go into edit your profile, you're gonna go ahead and use this button to do that. This is also where you can manage a lot of the stuff in your account. One of the most important is going to be these settings and privacy. That's where you can change a lot of your preferences, your visibility settings on who can see some of your information, and what you want to be notified about, all that. This is where you're going to be able to do that. And so next we're going to go to we're going to talk about the searching function. And so before we do that, we're actually going to go ahead and talk about something that in the settings and privacy. So if you click on that, it'll take you here. And so before we start searching, one thing I recommend is that going into visibility, the visibility of your profile and network, and changing this first option they have up here so that it just tells someone that someone on LinkedIn viewed their profile. So what this essentially is every time you look at someone's profile, it will inform them that somebody has looked at their profile. By changing this setting on here, it changes whether LinkedIn tells them that you personally looked at their profile, or if just someone on LinkedIn looked at their profile. So, if you are okay with them seeing that you personally looked at that person's profile, if you're looking at recruiters' profiles, you're looking at someone you would want to work with one day, if you're okay with them seeing that you personally looked at that, then you can keep that check. But for me, I don't necessarily want people to know that I specifically looked at their profile. So I do have it to just someone on LinkedIn so they don't know it was me who looked at their profile. It was just someone on LinkedIn that had looked at it. So if you've done that, you've changed it to somebody on LinkedIn, or you've kept it the same, depending on what you want to do, then we're going to go ahead and move on to the searching function, one of the most important things that they have in LinkedIn. And that is because you're able to search for all these different things that you see here. These are all the stuff you can search for. And if you search for people, you can make connections with people. You can follow companies, you can find jobs, you can find posts, so on and so forth with this searching function. And you can filter by clicking these little buttons. So if I only want to see people, and I have typed in IT up here, if I only want to see people in IT, I'll click that and it'll just give me people. If I just want to see companies in IT, click that, it'll just give me companies. As you can see, I typed in IT, it's recommended me all these people who are nearby where I have said I'm located in. So it tries to match you with people that you might know or you might be talking about based on where you are right there, right now. And you can see third plus, that means that my degree of connection to them is farther than third degree. So I'm not connected to anybody right now at all, but I'm not connected to anybody who is friends with a friend with a friend. So if you're friends with someone who's friends with them, it'll be first, friends with someone who's friends with someone who's friends second, right? That's not that important, but I thought I'd known in case you were wondering what that was. But so it'll try to recommend people that you might possibly know when you search for things or companies you might be talking about. It'll sort them for you automatically. But the most important, not the most important, but one of the most important, I think, search tools when you type in something in the search bar is searching via jobs. So you're going to click that little jobs bubble, right? And it'll take you to this little page right here. So it's filtering all the IT jobs that are available that people have posted on LinkedIn. And it also has filtered it via location. So again, I've noted that I am in the United States, so it has it filtered via United States. You can make that as specific or broad as you want. So if I want to say Iowa, I can do Iowa. If you want to do a foreign country, you can do a foreign country and search for jobs that way. You can also do additional filters we have in these little bubbles. You click on them and it'll help you filter them to be more exact. So if you want to do one within a specific company, type of, if it's on-site or remote, you can just click these filters up here, and you can also look at all the other additional filters that they have as well. And then once you have kind of all the filters that you want, location you want, you can set an alert right here so that any jobs match the type of filters you have for the job you're looking for, location, type of job. You can set an alert and it will alert you when new jobs that fit those qualifications have been put onto LinkedIn. So I had mentioned this earlier, right? In my little briefcase icon I was talking about, you toggle that on, it'll create an alert for you, and you can find that here in the little briefcase icon under job alerts. So when you have that on, it'll send you alerts that jobs are available. If you ever want to go and check what you have set alerts for, again, you can go into the briefcase icon under my job alerts. And then if you see a job you do like, here we have a job, right? I've clicked on it, I'm interested in it. If I want to save this job for later, I don't want to apply for it right now, I can hit this little save button right here, and that will save it again in my briefcase icon under my jobs. So I had mentioned that earlier as well, the my jobs. That's where all the jobs you have clicked that save button are going to go, so you can come back to them and maybe apply for them later. There's also this option, easy apply. Some jobs will have easy apply, which means you can just apply with your LinkedIn profile without having to, go to a different website and apply through their website. You can just easy apply and apply with your LinkedIn profile. I have this option disabled right now because I had not confirmed my email. So again, be sure to confirm your email and then you'll be able to use that tool. But that's one great tool that LinkedIn has, is that easy apply, where you can just apply with your profile, not too much extra work involved. So my slides got ahead of me there for a second. I'm sorry, got a little spoiler alert, but now we're going to talk about ways to make your profile stand out. So first, our first recommendation is to fill out all the sections. So earlier I had talked about how in the Me tab, you can go and hit View Profile, and then you can go and see your profile. This is a profile. And I apologize, I'm not using my mouse, so my touchpad is a little more touchy than I'm used to. And so I've got to be careful about that. But so this is your profile that you have. And you can go in and edit that and change what people see when they click on your profile. So you can fill it out as much as you want, but it is recommended you fill out all these sections that they have here. You can see this little button has add section, and then you can add all these different sections on there to tell your connections, to tell possible employers all about yourself and about who you are as an employee or as a business person, just career-wise, who you are. So be sure to fill that all out so that employers, recruiters, they get a better idea of who you are. But again, if you want to, you don't want to share some of the information that they have, that they ask you to provide, you don't have to. It's just recommended to do so that employers get a better picture of who you are. And then, again, you got a little spoiler for this slide, but you can go to Open To, that's right next to the Add Section button. If you click on that, you'll be able to note that what you're kind of looking for with your LinkedIn experience. If you're looking for a new job, if you're hiring, if you're a recruiter, you're someone who wants to find people to work for them, you can put hiring. Or if you're someone who's like a freelance graphic designer, you do art, you're just kind of, you don't have a specific, type of job. If you're providing services, you can note that as well, as opposed to looking for a job or hiring, just so that when people look at your profile, they know kind of if they can reach out to you for finding a new job. If if they're a recruiter and they see you're looking for a new job, they could reach out to you. If you're hiring, if they're looking for a job, they can reach out to you. If they're looking for someone who's providing the services, looking for a graphic designer, and you do graphic design and you're providing services, then this shows them that they could reach out to you if they're interested in your services. So that's always something that you could do. Again, you don't have to put this on your profile if you don't want to. If you're not looking for a job, you're not hiring, not providing services, you don't have to choose one of those. But if you are, this is a great way, again, to make your profile stand out to people who are looking for employees under a certain field, for services, so on and so forth. This is a great way to show that you're open to this stuff. And then next, in that settings we had talked about earlier, where we changed the visibility, is that you can go into data privacy and change your job seeking preferences. This is something that's really cool, is that you can turn this on, this section right here, which is to signal to your interest to recruiters at companies you've created jobs for. So if you've created a job search, you've saved a job search for a company, in those filters I had showed you, there was one that was filter via company. So let's say I have a IT job in the United States, but I want to work for Microsoft, and I have a saved job search for IT jobs under Microsoft. Then I could toggle this on, and anytime they have a job available at Microsoft, they will let recruiters know I am interested in working at Microsoft. And so that's great, because then you don't have to reach out to recruiters, right? LinkedIn will do that for you. So that's a great tool to use if you would like for LinkedIn to do that on your behalf. And then one of the most important things a lot of people are going to recommend when you have a LinkedIn account, when you're using LinkedIn, is to make as many connections as possible. These should be people you know, so don't just go around connecting to everybody you see and everyone they recommend to you. Connect to people you know via work, via school, and that who you know, not strangers. Because when you make connections, they can go in and they can endorse any skills you have on your profile. So under that add section, one of those was skills, and you can go in and add your skills to your profile, such as Photoshop. I'm a team player. I don't know, anything that you would say is something that you're skilled at. You can put that in here, and then your connections can endorse that. So this little number here is 5. That means 5 of this guy's connections have said, yeah, he's good at construction. So the more connections you have, the more opportunities for people to verify your strengths. And so that's a great reason to make as many connections as possible, as well as they have recommendations. So people you have connected with who have worked with you can write recommendations about who you are as an employee, what it's like to work with you. That is an additional section that can be put on your profile if people want to write you a recommendation, right? And that's a great way to have kind of a reference without having to, list a reference for them to reach out. They can see who you are as an employee via your coworkers, and they can reference those recommendations and see who you are via other people who've worked with you through who other people have worked with you through their eyes, right? So again, another thing you can do is you can message your connections, you can message them. So let's say they have posted about how their company needs a graphic designer. You can then message them and be like, hey, I'm a graphic designer, and I would be interested in working with you. And then you can get a job via that by having this connection. They've said that they need someone, and then you connect with them, you can send them a message, you can get a job. So that's always a great way to get a job, is to have to have connections with people who are working in companies, uh, who might post about job openings that they have within their company, or maybe they might even reach out to you because they know that you are a graphic designer. They have a connection with you. They see you're a graphic designer. Maybe without even posting about it, they'll message you and be like, "Hey, we have an opening for a graphic designer. Would you be interested?" So that's so it's highly encouraged to make a lot of connections because it can open quite a bit of doors for you by doing so. Um, and then the skill quizzes I had mentioned earlier. So we have, like I said, with the connections, you can note what your skills are in the skills section. And if people can endorse that, or you can also take skill quizzes, which are quizzes, again, by LinkedIn that test your proficiency in that skill you have listed. So if I have Photoshop, I can take a Photoshop quiz. You do have to test within the top 30% of people who have taken that quiz, and you also can only take the quiz twice. So I would recommend maybe studying up via LinkedIn Learning before taking the quiz, because you do only get 2 chances. But if you fail it and then you're like, "Oh man, I guess I don't know as much as I thought," then you can, like I said, if you have a library membership, go ahead and start looking at those LinkedIn Learning classes they have on that, and that should definitely help you on the quizzes that they have. Now, you don't have to put a skill down that you have taken a quiz for. You don't have to take a quiz. Sorry, you don't have to take a quiz for every skill that you put down. You can put down skills and not taken the quiz for them. You can totally do that. But if you want to, just show off that you have passed the quiz and so you know what you're talking about, then you have the option of taking the quiz so that employers know, oh, she has passed the LinkedIn quiz. So she knows what type of stuff I guess LinkedIn is quizzing you on, and has that proficiency that we're looking for. Also, it will not inform employers whether or not you have taken the quizzes and failed them. They'll only indicate whether you've passed it. So if you passed it, it'll verify it in your skill and endorsements. If you haven't passed it, there's no repercussions for that. I won't let people know. It'll only let them know if you've passed it or not. So you can, so don't feel too bad if you've failed a quiz. It won't let people know. So, and then lastly, just explore LinkedIn to find what tools are going to be most useful for you. So I've only covered a couple of the different tools that LinkedIn provides, different services LinkedIn provides, different things you can change in your settings, different things you can look at when you're on the website. But even so, you can see that there's much more, and there's even more that you might want to dive into with the tools that I have shared. So go ahead and just, explore LinkedIn, find what works for you, find what you think might be useful for your job hunt, for your employee hunt, for what you're looking for within LinkedIn. So yeah, so I hope that has been informative for you guys. I hope you learned quite a bit. I apologize for the technical difficulties I had a couple times, but I would like to thank you guys with your patience, and thank you guys for watching. So I hope you all have a great time on LinkedIn, and I hope it serves you well.